Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be talking about the upcoming pattern where we have multiple rounds of severe weather upcoming for the southeastern United States. A lot of interesting weather is upcoming in the pattern, and also in the longer range, we can see some more major storms coming up. Anyways, before I get into this video, be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. For today's comment of the day, I want to know, do you think that we have any more major snowstorms on the way, or do you think that this winter is pretty much wrapping up? Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Let's get straight into this video, and first things first, we're taking a look here at our radar imagery. As you can see, we do have kind of a flow like this going on up here. Also some energy making its way up the east coast here a bit, which is indicating warmer air is making its way in. So this is most of the activity that we're seeing. We do have just this area of showers going on up here in the northwest, lingering remnants of a storm up there in the northeast, and then also some thunderstorm activity here in the southeast. Let's make our way up to the northwest real quickly. We'll work our way from here outward. We can just see minor showers, more isolated pockets of this kind of moving across the region. It's always funny. You can see where the valleys and the mountains are. Valley, and then we can see mountain right here, and then valley in here where it's raining again, and then mountains again, obviously here in the Rockies. So it's kind of layered, obviously, with where there's rain, snow, rain, and then snow again. And then rain again here as we get to the upper Midwest and the Great Plains there, the northern plains, like in the Dakotas where we're seeing rainfall. So it's just interesting to see that, obviously. Now we can see that there is also some rainfall further south, mostly rainfall. There is some snowfall going on, but Nevada, Utah, Colorado, northern Arizona, and northwestern New Mexico as well. We're seeing some of that rainfall going on. Now we do see some of this precipitation working its way in through, like I said, the upper Midwest and I guess portions of the Great Lakes states. We are seeing this make its way here into northern Wisconsin and the upper peninsula of Michigan as well. But there is some snowfall around. You can tell those lakes are very, very cold because it's snowfall over the lakes, but this radar is indicating it's rainfall over land here, which probably means that the air is a bit warmer than the lake is at this point. So that lake is actually helping to cool down the air above it to below freezing conditions. That is if this radar is accurate. That's just my educated guess there. Now, let's take a look here. This is kind of our thunderstorm activity. We can tell there's heavy showers and thunderstorms going on right here for the Gulf states, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, Arkansas as well there. We're seeing a lot of this going on. And then offshore of Florida in the southeast, we are seeing a lot of thunderstorm activity and showers. That was over Florida a while ago. But now it's kind of moved offshore, but as we can see, it was over the state of Florida. They're bringing some severe thunderstorms there and even a tornado warning here. I wonder if that was over Orlando, actually. Let's see. Watch that play out. No, that was north of Orlando. It was somewhere in here where that tornado warning was, but that has all kind of just moved offshore here, as you can see, well offshore of Florida. But that was bringing a lot of lightning and a lot of rainfall here to the state of Florida. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to move on to the modeled guidance and a lot of the Storm Prediction Center, maybe even more than yesterday. Alright, now here we are taking a look at our simulated radar here on the European model. Let's just keep going with this. Let's just move this to where we're at, kind of. So this is going to be by mid-morning today. We can see those showers going on up here. We could also see that kind of thunderstorm activity down there, and whatever's up here will have moved out by the time we're reaching mid-morning this morning. Now, as we continue on with this overnight, this is going to move up into these portions of the Carolinas and portions of the Mid-Atlantic as well up here. We can also see that for the Rockies, we get a bit of a snowstorm, a little bit more minor than what you guys are kind of used to, but it does kind of linger around for sure with some of that moderate to heavy snowfall. And eventually what we see happen is this storm does transfer eastward. We get a little bit of a low pressure system there. We see a cold front lingering underneath and then a warm front trying to develop out ahead of it. And that's kind of the setup for this one. Somebody commented yesterday, they were like, it's amazing how we've had the same storm track through January, February, and even well into March now. And it can't be, any closer to the truth, because that's what we've seen. We've seen the same storm track, and we've seen these storms over and over and over again. They dip down and they come up like this, and they move up through the northeast, and it just happens over and over and over again. What it leads to is a cold front underneath with, a slight to enhanced risk of severe weather underneath. And then we've seen snowfall up top. Now, as we're approaching later into the spring, the snowfall up top has become a little less of a factor, but regardless, it has been a similar storm track, and we even see a lot of this precipitation move up into the northeast eventually. Still, not a major storm, 1,003 millibar low pressure center, so yeah, still a quite minor storm there. We do see some storminess for the Gulf and offshore of the East Coast here and onshore of some of those states involved. We see our next storm moving in through the west here as well, so there's a ton going on. This is by Sunday, March 20th. That storm will begin to move into the Rockies. This storm will begin to move offshore. We continue on with this. This is Monday the 21st, and we see our next low pressure system developing here. We see snowfall again for the Rockies, and a lot of energy out ahead of this. Heading in like this, this could feature quite a bit of severe weather potentially. And we see something interesting happen. Our low pressure system lingers here, but we see some sort of frontal boundary down like this. That's a little bit of a confusing look, but we do have some snowfall behind it. We'll take a look at the Storm Prediction Center in a moment, like I mentioned. What we eventually see happen is it becomes a much more recognizable pressure system here. We could see a lot of those frontal boundaries as well. Cold front underneath, warm front out ahead. We really, a second ago it looked very confusing, but it just needed to really get its act together. It's a little bit more major this time around. We see this one getting into the 990s at times. So this one is a bit more major. We see severe weather along this one. This is going to bring, I think, a lot of our severe weather, and eventually that one moves offshore. We do get this storm here. We're going to see a storm dip down like this and move up like this. This one's a bit more major, so let's watch that one play out. 989, 990, bringing a lot of snowfall. 990, 992, 993. Yeah, so that one is going to be primarily a snowstorm. But it is much more major than a lot of our storms in the upcoming pattern as well. That one's dipping into the 980s at times, which is a very strong low pressure system. So we might have some stronger storms going on a little bit later in the pattern, and we've kind of seen that on the models as we've worked through the European model. Towards the end, we will see these, and even this one is a bit stronger. This one right here is a bit stronger than a lot of the storms before it as we get into the 900s there at times, so it is worth mentioning. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on and we're going to talk about the Storm Prediction Center. So here's the day one categorical outlook. We have 3 general thunderstorm risks here, one here for the 4 corner states, one up here for Montana where thunder is possible, and we have one here for the southeast. Now, this is areas where we don't necessarily expect severe weather. We do expect thunderstorms to be possible, though. Now, the darker green area that you see in the southeast here, this is where severe weather becomes a lot more possible. Still not super likely for every single spot in here, but there will be isolated reports of severe weather most likely. And then this yellow region here is our slight risk area, and that's where we begin to see a little bit more likelihood of severe weather there for South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida down there in the southeast. Now, individual outlooks. Day one wind outlook here. We have a 5% chance within 25 miles of a given location here within the green region of damaging wind. So for Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, and even up into a little bit of North Carolina, that is our primary threat. We do see a pretty big hail threat as well here. 5% chance within 25 miles of a given location there within the green, and a 15% chance there within the yellow. So we see an even higher chance here of hail. And then our tornado outlook is going to be 2% chance within 25 miles of a given location of tornadoes occurring there within the green. Now, for day 2, we move back into a slight risk again. We have 2 marginal risks here and 4 general thunderstorm risks. 1 general thunderstorm risk here that I'm underlining, 1 here, 1 very big one, 1 here for Florida, and then 1 here for the eastern seaboard. So again, no severe weather expected within the light green areas, but it is slightly possible, just not very likely at all. We don't expect that. Now, marginal risks, we have 2 of these, like I mentioned. 1 there for the southeast. We see Virginia, North Carolina, and South Carolina there in a marginal risk. And then down here for the Gulf states and the south central United States, we also see some severe weather possible there in the darker green. Now, the slight risk here, our yellow region, we do expect severe weather, again, to be a little bit more of a likelihood here than the surrounding regions, but it will probably just be scattered in with those severe weather reports, not super widespread, most likely. It is possible, but it's just not the most likely thing. Now, wind outlook here, we have very small areas here, but we have 5% chance within the 3 green regions within 25 miles of a given location. And then the yellow region, we have a 15% chance within 25 miles of a given location there of damaging wind. Hail outlook looks to be the biggest threat here on day 2. We have a 5% chance there within 25 miles of a given location there within the green, and then a 15% chance there within the yellow. Now, we have our day 2 tornado outlook, which we have a 2% chance within 25 miles of a given location there within the green, and a 5% chance there within 25 miles of a given location there within the brown, so a little bit more elevated. Day 3 here, we have one huge area of general thunderstorm risk here in the lighter green, so lots and lots and lots of that general thunderstorm risk going on. Marginal risk here in the darker green, we have, again, isolated severe weather possible. And then our slight risk area here for portions of Georgia, Florida, Mississippi, Alabama, and Louisiana. That is where we expect scattered severe weather to be somewhere between possible and likely. I don't know what the word that would be in between there is, but it's not necessarily likely. It's getting there, but it's a little bit more than just possible. It is sort of expected. That's what I would say. Sort of expected. Now, our day 4 probability outlook, we're moving into the extended range here on the Storm Prediction Center. We do have what would translate to a slight risk here for North Carolina and South Carolina there, mostly the coastal regions. On day 4, that'll be Saturday, March 19th. Now, for day 6, we do have another area that this, again, will be probably a slight risk for a lot of Texas there into a tiny bit of Louisiana, Arkansas, and Oklahoma. And then even on day 7, that threat will move further eastward into a little bit of Texas still, but a lot of Louisiana, actually almost all of Louisiana, a lot of Mississippi there, a bit of Alabama, and a bit of Arkansas as well. And that's it for the Storm Prediction Center. I know that's a lot, but that is what we have going on, guys. It's going to get active here. I think a lot of these days will likely have enhanced or higher risks, so we will have some higher risk days, but I think the biggest thing here is we have so many days of severe weather expected coming up. I think out of the next 7 days, I think more days than not will feature a slight risk, which is just absolutely crazy. I think only two of the days within the next 7 days, or maybe even just one day out of the next 7 days, will not have a slight risk. So, yeah, very elevated. Again, like I said, some of these days might feature enhanced or even higher risks. So we're going to be wanting to watch for that as well. But I think, again, the biggest thing is just the repetition day after day after day of, slight to enhanced severe weather that is going to, lead towards some impacts at some point, almost certainly. Anyway, for today's confidence tab, we're at a 4 out of 6. For today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, which month do you think will feature the most severe weather this season? And James Marr said, I believe April will have the most severe weather this severe weather season. And I actually kind of agree. I think with how fast things are progressing towards a spring-like pattern, I'm going to take the earlier onset of the worst of the severe weather, which would be April. Some years, March into a bit of April are a little bit more wintry as far as the temperature patterns. And that leads towards a little less severe weather. And then usually if that occurs, we see the severe weather onset a little bit later on, which would be mostly May. And then sometimes it's just, the whole time it's crazy. But I think the most likely outcome is April this year, just because of how early everything's basically on set. For today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons, Bill Crates, James Wade, Dovin Nagel, Litherpan, Mandy Birchfield, Patrick Strickland, Dave Scott, and Donna Carnes as well. I would also thank our diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Horler, Michael Kudelasa, Catbite, Charles Dennett, Bill Dallas, Gary's, and John Khaleesi also. I'd also thank our channel members, Catbite, Stephen Finn, and Jeremy Cox as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video.